Hi everyone, John Collin here again. I'm recording this 2 days after Christmas, and I've seen on online forums and subreddits a lot of people in the weight loss subreddits asking what to do during the holidays because they often feel like they have to avoid the desserts, avoid the fatty foods or whatever. And if you wish to do that, that's entirely up to you, but I'll tell you straight up, I absolutely indulged on Christmas. I woke up and had a big pancake breakfast with chocolate chips and maple syrup on top. I had a giant pot roast for dinner with ice cream for dessert and felt absolutely no guilt because on December 26th, what happened? I went right back to my old routine. Right back to my original routine like nothing happened. Because you're not going to blow your diet. You're not going to gain a ton of weight just because of one day. If you weigh yourself the next day, you might see that you've gained several pounds, but you haven't really gained that much weight. It's just you haven't digested the food yet. So I haven't weighed myself since Christmas. I don't intend to for a few more days until everything is back to normal for several days. And that's just how I'm going to do it. There are only how many holidays in the year that revolve around food? Let's see, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, maybe Memorial Day and 4th of July with some barbecues, and Valentine's Day. How many days in the year is that? It's what you do the rest of the days that are important. Because I absolutely indulged on December 25th, but December 26th, right back to my old routine as though nothing ever happened. And that's another mistake that people make. If they do decide to indulge on a holiday, they feel like they have to make up for it the next day by restricting and or going to the gym entirely too much until they risk injuring themselves. And that's another mistake. And you don't want to do that because then you risk getting into what's called the binge or restrict cycle, where you binge and then you feel like to make up for it, you have to restrict to far fewer calories that you should be eating or far more exercise than is really healthy for you. And that's not sustainable. They get huge cravings and then they go back to binging and it's a big cycle. Do not do that. Just go back to your normal routine. For me, it's about 2,200 calories a day. I believe I recorded how many that I ate yesterday and it was like 2,070. And that's perfectly fine. And I'm going to stick with that now for a while. And if you want to indulge on New Year's Eve coming up, I know a lot of people like to drink on New Year's Eve. As long as you do it safely, don't drink and drive, that's fine too. Just don't make holidays an entire holiday season. Just restrict it to a handful of days, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, maybe one or two Christmas parties, office parties, whatever. That's fine. Allow yourself that. It is a festive season, that there's a lot of food that is part of the holiday culture. That's fine. Allow yourself to do that. It's what's important is the mentality. It's the habits that you carry through the rest of the year. And a lot of people carry that through the New Year's and try to make New Year's resolutions, and that's fine too. Just be careful if you do have a New Year's resolution to get more healthy, whether it's through diet or exercise or both. Be realistic about it. Stick to small, reasonable changes. The reason that a lot of people's New Year's resolutions never pan out is because they try and do too much too soon. They go from being a couch potato to saying, I'm going to work out an hour a day. They can't sustain that. Start off small. If you're going to make a New Year's resolution about that, make it about building up through the year. Start off, if you're a complete couch potato, make your New Year's resolution be, I'm going to go for a 10-minute walk every day or every other day. And then you build from that. And by the end of the year, maybe you're running, maybe you're going to the gym. And also make a resolution that's something you can stick with. If you really hate going to the gym, maybe that's not a good thing to start with, because you're going to feel like you have to force yourself to do it, like it's a chore to do. Find something that you enjoy and do that, whether it is simply going for a walk, whether it's even going golfing or playing in a softball league or a pickleball league. Those things can be great activities compared to doing absolutely nothing. In the long run, yes, things like weight training and all that are important, but build up to them. Don't feel like you have to jump in the deep end of the pool feet first and be a total gym bro on day one. You don't. Anything that you do is an improvement. And the same thing goes with diet. Find a healthy amount that you can eat. You don't have to suddenly become absolutely nothing but fresh whole foods on day one. It could be just a matter of cutting down the number of times you eat fast food, or just making a small cut to the number of calories you eat in a day. Definitely a good idea is to find an online calorie tracker. There are several that you can use. I know of a few. MyFitnessPal I use. Lose It is another one that I've seen used. I've heard very good things about it. There are some others. I don't know off the top of my head what they are, but there's very good ones that have a free tier. Usually they're ad supported, so you just have to deal with the ads. And really be honest with yourself about the number of calories that you eat in a day and set yourself a good goal. For men, for me, 2,200, 2,400 is generally pretty good. For women, I believe it's probably going to be about 1,500 or 1,600 depending. You can also find online what are called TDEE calculators, where you enter your weight, your sex, your height. If you know your body fat percentage, you can add that as well, your level of activity, and it'll calculate roughly, take it with a grain of salt, how many calories you burn in a day just by sitting, just by existing. And you can set your calorie goal based on that. So for me, it says about 3,100 calories per day. I do take that with a grain of salt. I think a lot of them overestimate how many you burn in a day. So that's why I set 2,200. I don't feel hungry at the end of the day when I've eaten 2,200 calories. That's about what I've eaten. I think I'm at about 2,100 so far today, and it's late in the evening that I'm recording this. And I feel great. I don't feel hungry. I don't feel like I've missed anything. So that's a good goal for me. If I ever need to adjust it, either upwards or downwards, I can do that. But it is something sustainable I think I can carry with me the rest of my life. And that's an important thing to take into consideration whenever you're thinking about changing your diet, changing your exercises, that you are trying to come up with something that you will do permanently. And that's why you want to start with small changes, because small changes are easy to carry with you. Habits, people talk about how long it takes to change a habit, and some people say, oh, it takes 35 days, but in truth, it definitely makes a difference what habit you're trying to change. There's another competitive pistol shooter named Keith Sanderson. He recently did some YouTube video interviews where he talks about changing habits, and he says, okay, let's say you want to make the habit of, as soon as you get up in the morning, you do 100 sit-ups first thing. How many days do you think it'll take you to change that habit? The person interviewing was like, 30, 35 or so. And then Keith Sanderson said, okay, now let's say you want to develop the habit that when the alarm goes off, you take a piece of chocolate and eat it first thing in the morning. How many days do you think it'll take you to develop that habit? Obviously, it would be a lot less. So developing good habits can take a bit of time to develop. So keep that in mind whenever you're trying to change your habit. Pick a small one that you think you can do. Change that habit until it sticks, and then you can change another habit. So a 10-minute walk can become a 20-minute walk. Eventually it can become a small jog, or then eventually maybe you do go to the gym and lift weights just a little bit for 10 or 15 minutes and make those small changes. And by the end of the year, they build up. And you'll notice the changes in you too. So don't worry about the holidays. Allow yourself to enjoy them. Allow yourself to enjoy your friends and family and the food associated with that. Don't feel any guilt, but make sure that you are not allowing the holiday to extend beyond too far. Here it is, December 27th, and Christmas Day is behind me. I'm back to my old routine again. And I know that you'll be able to stick with your plan too. If you remember, just make the small changes and don't beat yourself up if you ever have a cheat day or enjoy a holiday. It's all about the long term. It's a marathon, not a sprint, as they say. Have a great New Year 2026. This may or may not be the last video I make before the New Year, so if it is, Happy New Year, and I'll see you in 2026.